Hello, welcome once again to Living and Active. This is going to obviously be a video on the Motel's new machine playlist, giving you a look at my cool little analog candle chimney thing that I use for storms, or just when I feel like having an analog candle going on in my living space. But the machine that is the focus of this video is this 1929 Singer 99 with the very rare filigree decal set, which you can see an example of there. If you were watching the posts or the community tab, you will see my write-up about this, about the very long-winded acquisition timeline that it was on. And you'll see here in a second the difference, well, kind of the point of what I was briefly mentioned in that post. The machine itself, other than the paint fingerprints and the spill right there, that I don't know how to get up without absolutely destroying the finish of the machine. Other than that, this machine is very, very clean already. I haven't actually taken any of the plates off to do any of the internal cleaning with. I did take off all the electrical components, and hang on, I'm going to have to do the awesome wheelchair cinematography here. But I did take off the solid hand wheel that came with it, so that I could attach the hand crank. There you go, the hand crank to the machine. But I did take all of the electrical components to the side and test them by themselves, just plugging them into each other and then plugging them into my power strip, and they all actually worked. The light worked, all of the power chain worked or whatever, but because of what I wanted to do with this machine, I just figured I'd leave it as a hand crank. And I can think of some other cool things to do with the very unique power supply system that came with this machine. Again, this is a 1929, serial number verified and all that other stuff. It's in pretty good condition, the machine itself. So if you remember from the post, this was at a certain price. The machine was tagged at a certain price when I saw it last year, about 9 months ago. And then when I found it the other day, Tuesday, it should be the day before yesterday, the machine was pushed down inside of the table, and the table was closed, and there was a secondary price tag on it that was much, much lower. And I had mentioned in a post that there was a conversation between myself and the consignment shop owner that the machine was definitely worth the original price they were asking. They probably weren't going to get it because of the condition of the cabinet. Because people look at a cabinet and say, well, if the cabinet looks like that, then the machine's got to be garbage. This machine is not garbage. I could, if I wanted to, I actually might. It doesn't have a base, and it's not mounted, so I can't monkey with the hand crank without doing some stuff first. And the stuff that I have to do, if I wasn't holding a camera, I would lift up this end with my left half a hand, and I would crank this end with that half a hand, or with my right half a hand. But since I can't do that, because I am holding the camera, I will use my left half a hand to slide it past the edge of the desk that it's sitting on, so that that stuff down there can be free to spin and rotate. Then I will switch hands with this half a hand, and I will turn the crank, and you will see, maybe I will turn the crank. Maybe not. Hang on. That's not going to work. Left half a hand onto whole lap. Let's see if I can't even get an angle on this. Let's see if we can make this work. Okay, so sitting on the lap, right half a hand turns to crank. Nope, still binding. Balance machine on right leg with right half a hand. Maybe no. With the front sort of rest into the left leg. You try to position anything, trying to do anything in a wheelchair, things get interesting very quickly. Okay, so now I think I have the oscillating hook mechanism underneath the bed of this machine isolated. So now maybe it will actually turn. And it's not going to turn as smoothly as I would like it to, because physics is a thing. I'm going to switch half the hands again. Okay, so it's a better way of doing this. I really wanted to demonstrate how smoothly the hand crank turns, but I can't do it and operate the camera at the same time. So I guess you're just going to have to take my word for it. But the operation of this thing is very, very smooth, despite the condition of the cabinet, which I'm about to show you. But yeah, this is 1929. It's dirty. I mean, it's definitely got its buildup and its smudges and everything. But for the most part, the decals are intact, except for where they're worn thin here on the bed and here on the bed, which is expected because that's where the fabric goes, and that gets the most wear. But aside from the paint that's on the edges of this thing and the fingerprints and the other things previously discussed, this is a very nice machine. It's in very good condition. It's relatively clean, even around like the bobbin case and all that stuff. There's very little lint in it. So the machine itself was definitely worth the original price that was being asked for it, but they couldn't get the price that was being asked for it because it came in this table. Now I'm going to have to set you down onto the table a little bit and do the wheelchair maneuvering so you can see more from a better angle. Sorry for all the extra noise and the bumping around. But this is the table that machine came in, and you're like, okay, it just looks like old wood. Well, let's put even more light onto the subject here. Do kind of a flyby here. This is the wood that the hinges for the top were actually mounted into. You can see there's some serious delamination here, and both mortises for the hinges. You can see that the finish is absolutely fried. Someone had tried to maybe refinish it a little bit with decidedly amateur results, but I can appreciate the fact that at least the effort was made. The design of this thing is actually quite good. It looks like garbage. Someone tried to save it, but it didn't work. But the design, the actual design of this cabinet is noteworthy and actually makes it what's worth saving. You can see here there's extensive damage to the wood here. This has obviously gotten wet at some point. But the overall design of this thing is top sits like this. It's got that nice little lip right there. Right? Okay, so it's sitting there. Imagine this has a decent finish on it, or any kind of finish whatsoever. And then you just come up and you can open it up by the hinge, and the hinge helps hold it or whatever, and then you get access to the machine here. Right? But the coolest aspect of this table, which is why I'm going to break my own rule and actually care about trying to rejuvenate the cabinet one of these machines comes in. I don't really have the space for it. Excuse me while I roll past what I'm trying to film because of wheelchairs. But the prime feature of this cabinet is this door. Okay. Obviously it's not hung very well or whatever, and it's not secure at all. But it's got nice hinges on it. Just need to be cleaned up, whatever. But unlike most sewing cabinets, one obviously is the fact that this is a door instead of most cabinets this size where it's just a box that has a leaf that opens up and then the machine comes out of it. It does have a door, and then the door is this little tray and a spool system, like a place to put bobbins. So you have this bobbin rack here, which is metal, by the way, it's not wood. You have this tray here for all of your accessories or whatever. This is the hardware that I've pulled out of the table so far. But once this gets cleaned up, I mean, the table itself is structurally sound. I mean, pretty much in terms of like the legs and the joints and everything. It's not blasted apart anywhere except for that hinge up top, or the hinges up top. And everything else is just ugly as dirt. It's the only problem with this thing. But because the table was ugly, and the hinges on the top needed some attention, a very nice machine with a very cool table couldn't go for something that, even at the high price, was a fraction of what it should have been listed for, and it had to be knocked down even like much lower. So this is going to be an excellent unit once everything's done to it. It's probably going to take me a while to get the cabinet tended to the way it needs to be because I live in an apartment. I don't have access to a shop. So I don't know how I'm actually going to do the restoration of the cabinet. But I'm going to figure out a way because it deserves it. I mean, it's solid. Other than the damage to that one edge of the top leaf. Everything else, design and structure-wise, it just needs attention, needs to be shored up. And that's it. Especially now that it doesn't have to worry about holding a machine or the electronics for the machine. There's no reason why this can't go back together as a very simple, almost shaker style sewing machine cabinet and a hand crank sewing machine, and be a very very functional, very nice unit for a very simple but effective seamstress or dressmaker or whatever. So that's the video. I guess you can apply whatever spiritual lesson here you want to. I'm very tired. This machine here that I brought in yesterday. Sorry, day before. Marks the 6th or 7th machine that I've taken in the last week or so. I have the space for it now that I've gotten rid of all the yarn stuff, but still, it's been a while since I've done this many machines in this short a time, and I'm not used to it. So before I actually get into any kind of heavy work, I just wanted to get this video shot at least. But yeah, if there is any kind of spiritual thing, it'd just be, the cruddy, nasty exterior that you see on people is just what they've been exposed to. The damage done by the lives that people have gone through. And the real worth is in the initial design that remains. The intent of what could have been, what was supposed to be, as designed by the designer, and the core function and contents of the very damaged, very battered exterior that you find when you're dealing with other people. So keep that in mind. Yeah, that's all I got. Hebrews 11:6. Without faith it is impossible to please God, because those who come to God must believe that He is, and that He's a rewarder of those who seek Him. So until next time, if there is a next time, and there might not be, God be with you.